My youngest son, Andy, died by suicide on December 11th, 2012. Andy was just 16 years old. He was a tremendously gifted athlete. He just had that joie de vivre of life and baseball, and so they nicknamed him Sunshine. Andy didn't display any outward signs that he was suicidal after he passed. I began to connect some of the things that may have been part of the process, his breakup with his girlfriend, some bullying at school, and some social media bullying. It never once crossed my mind that Andy was even thinking about anything that would hurt himself. He was a happy kid, and I'm a good mom.
My son Jacob was only 18 years old when he died by suicide. Jacob's friends would always call him Dr. Phil because he was always giving advice to everybody. I received a letter in the mail about 1 year after Jacob's death that he had written to himself. It was a school project, and it said, "Dear future self, if you are reading this, you probably haven't done what you've been contemplating for years now. Good for you. Although it probably is because you were too scared. Anyhow, of course, your life is worthless. Honestly, don't try to love yourself. It's only going to make things worse. If you're indeed reading this, you still live at home. Just get out. You are nothing less than a burden there. Don't ever think of coming back." It feels heartbreaking because nobody else saw him like that. He was so special to so many people.
I think one of the most important coping tools that we can instill in our kids is to be resilient. I would encourage you to walk beside your child, let them struggle, and support them while they're going through the difficulties in their teenage years.
Parents have really got to realize how their children are perceiving everything around them. My advice for having resilient kids is don't break them down or have unrealistic expectations. Instead, let your children be who they are and offer your guidance and your compassion.
Please welcome Samantha, who is here in studio, and Leanne, who joins us virtually. Thank both of you for being here. And let me tell you both, I'm so very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I just cannot even imagine what both of you have had to deal with. I'm just so very sorry for that. What's been the hardest thing for you to deal with, and what's been the most important thing to help you cope?
I really had to learn to change my perspective. Instead of noticing that he's gone, notice that I was so blessed that this perfect child gave me 18 years of his life.
And you say they referred to him as Dr. Phil.
Yeah, that was his nickname at school because that was his goal in life. I think it was his calling, was to help others, because he saw in others exactly what he needed to see in himself. And I saw that in his goodbye letters. His goodbye letters were telling people, you never saw how amazing you were. Stop beating yourself up. You think I didn't notice how great you were in so many manners. And that was all what he needed to see in himself, and he just couldn't see it. He had so many self-limiting beliefs, and I didn't even know that they were happening until I received that letter.
Right. Leanne, I really appreciate you being here. And what's been the hardest thing for you, and what's been your most important coping strategy?
You know, I really want to address some of this to Marissa because it's interesting as I was listening, the similarities in her life and mine. And my resiliency skills actually began at her age. And I had a choice to make of how I got that attention because I really wanted to make some noise. I wanted people to hear me and see me because I was hurt and wounded. And by doing the positive things and achieving a great life for myself, then I owned that control. I took ownership of my life beginning at your age. And those skills that I developed then helped me to survive the loss of my son. You can take that loss that you feel and you can use that energy and make you strong. You are in charge of that. You really can do this, Marissa.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.